Captain.
Captain Coach Mallory is going to help me with the coin toss. Side without you is head. Side with the state of Indiana is tails. You're up. You're up. Heads is the call. Coach, would you please? Okay, great. Let's come up tails. I haven't won. Indiana, you won the toss. You want to defer. Indiana's won the toss and deferred. You want the football. Which way will you kick? You're going to kick this way, swing around over there, ball stay here.
Coach Mallory did the coin toss, and his 1988 Liberty Bowl Hoosiers will be honored at halftime here tonight. There's Brady Hoke in his 6th season as head coach. 25-37 record. He coached BSU to a 7-6 record in the MAC West Division Coach Championship a year ago. And Bill Lynch, former head coach at Ball State, in his 2nd season after taking over the program here at Indiana following the death of Terry Hefner. Lynch led the Hoosiers to a bowl game a season ago as they played in the Insight Bowl, their first appearance since 1993 in the postseason.
Crowd is amped up. You can just feel the energy and the intensity in the crowd. Everybody's just fired up and ready to go.
This game has really caught a buzz here in Indiana this week. A lot of talk about it. Both programs in basketball tradition, Indiana trying to establish themselves with a 2nd consecutive bowl season. Both teams with the elite quarterbacks in college football, and so this should be exciting here tonight.
And we kind of laughed talking to Kellen Lewis. He said all the kids in the classroom were talking about it, instigating and talking about that man Dante Love getting in his ear.
Dante Love averaging just over 25 yards per kickoff return. Austin Starr, 5th-year senior, Logansport, Indiana, has it on the tee. Good to have you with us in prime time, and here's the kickoff. Dante Love about a yard deep. Beautiful move there. To the 30, to the 35, and roped down from behind just short of the 40-yard line. Tyler Replogle, a linebacker, brought him down 37 yards downfield.
Well, he's one of the best kick returners in the country, just letting the blocking up front set up and finding the lane, and you just can't teach that. Gives him a little dead leg, finds the seam and pushes it forward.
Nate Davis, the junior, Bellaire, Ohio, has started for the last 2.5 seasons. He played against Indiana as a true freshman a couple of years ago in a game that saw Indiana come from behind at Muncie to win 24-23. Davis completing 75% of his passes this season. Miquel Lewis couldn't get around the end. Good support on the flank of the defense by the cornerback, Chris Atkins. Now for the Rotel starting lineup. The backs and receivers. Miquel Lewis is an outstanding running back who did not play in this game a year ago due to injury. On the offensive line, the tackles will be challenged here tonight by the Indiana defensive ends. Robert Brewster, the best of the bunch. Andre Ramsey gave up 2 sacks to Middleton a year ago. He's a much improved player this season. 2nd down and about 9. A little bit less than 10 yards to go. Davis. Good feel for the rush. Davis gets what he can. Escaping out of bounds at the 41-yard line. One of the most improved defenses in the country, at least in the early going, have been the Indiana Hoosiers. On the defensive line, Curlew and Middleton are outstanding. Matter of fact, they feel, the Ball State people feel, that's the best tandem defensive end combination they'll face this season. Will Patterson, the standout, Mayberry, good range. These linebackers run extremely well. In the secondary, Nick Polk is the leader at safety. Joe Kleinsmith playing for the injured Austin Thomas tonight. 3rd down. Here comes the rush. They blitz 1. Plenty of time. Davis waiting. And it's knocked away beautifully by the linebacker, Will Patterson. Pass intended for Miquel Lewis. I do not believe he would have been eligible anyway. He had stepped out of bounds on that pattern down the sideline.
Well, you're exactly right, but let's just start up front. We talk about the battle of the trenches. He had plenty of time, a little pressure right there, but there you see Miquel Lewis, left side of the screen, does step out of bounds. But you saw the athleticism of Will Patterson being able to carry that wheel route of Miquel Lewis.
Chris Miller, tremendous punter and a good punt returner back deep. Ray Fisher did not play 2 weeks ago due to injury against Murray State. And the punt is blocked. Blocked by Indiana. Out of bounds. Hoosier football inside the 35-yard line. Jeremy Finch blocked it. And the Hoosiers get a big break early.
Well, you talk about rolling the momentum. Jeremy Finch, exciting players. Coaches love him, and they love him even more now. Finding a running lane, and what I like is he comes in, he gets the ball off the foot, extends, then hops off the ground and try and find it. That's how you create momentum. See how that offense feeds on it.
Sophomore out of Indianapolis and the University of Florida. And now Kellen Lewis takes over for Indiana, 1st and 10. Lewis, quick little bubble screen. Fisher, that's his specialty, out of bounds near the 25-yard line on a gain of 6 yards. Kellen Lewis is the junior from Jacksonville, Florida. Last year against Ball State, career high 354 yards of offense and 4 touchdown passes. Matter of fact, 2 years ago, his coming out party was in that game up in Muncie against Ball State. Big Pen trying to make something work to the outside. Boy, good penetration to the point of attack by the Cardinals up front. And take a look at that defensive line. It's a 3-4, 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and we'll get a look at it. But this is what Indiana will be working against with their skill position players. Indiana with Marcus Thigpen, you saw him a speedster. Andrew Means a go-to receiver in that core. And the offensive line very solid up front. Little swing pass, Thigpen close to the first down. He stepped out of bounds 2 yards short at the 23-yard line. I mentioned the Ball State defense, and they'll have their hands full. Crawford and Perry and Duffin up front. Crawford is a 32-year-old defensive end. We'll talk about him a little bit later. 4 linebackers, Bryant Haynes the leader. And in the secondary, B.J. Hill, an undersized corner, but is their best coverage corner. And Sean Baker is the National Defensive Player of the Week. 4th down for Indiana. Austin Starr on to try a 40-yard field goal. Starr 2 of 3 this season. For the first points of the game. High snap, good placement. He's got it through the uprights, and Indiana cashes for 3 off the blocked punt by Jeremy Finch and takes the early lead 3-0 over Ball State. So the Hoosiers strike first. Special teams leads to 3 points from Austin Starr. 3-0 Indiana. Jeremy Finch originally went to the University of Florida, transferred back home to Indiana, and made the first big play of this game. And take a look at it, Chris.
Well, we'll see it on the punt block. He's going to come off the right side, and what he's going to do is he's going to give an outside move and then go hard inside, and he gets his man on the back of his heels, and he lays out for the punt. Excellent job of setting up the move, again on a hard step, causing a sudden change.
Austin Starr has it on the tee, ready to go. Good strong kick. Starr put 5 through the end zone against Murray State. That's his first tonight. No return, and Ball State will start out at the 20-yard line. Suzuki ATV keys to the game, Chris.
Well, for Indiana, they got to shut down the running game with Miquel Lewis. Get them behind the chains and give no love to Dante. You know that they want to get him the ball, get him about 15 to 20 touches. Ball State win the battle in the trenches, particularly on the offensive side of the line. Give time to Nate Davis, and in a game with a lot of fireworks, eliminate explosive plays.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals. They went 1, 2, 3 and out of their first possession. Trio of receivers clustered to the top of your screen. Davis going the other way. Dante Love, he's got a first down to the 33-yard line, gain of 13 yards. Over to make the tackle, Will Patterson.
Wayne, this is an excellent play call. What you did is you got Bunch on the other side, so it isolates the corner one-on-one on Dante Love, a matchup that he's going to win most times. To create spacing, nice play call. You go trip to the other side, Bunch, isolate the corner on Dante Love. All-purpose
yardage, Dante Love. Since 2007, atop the heap. First down, 33-yard line. Ball State territory for the Cardinals. Sykes, the freshman. Patterson, the senior, on the tackle. I beg your pardon, Patterson just a junior. Another year to go here. Seems like he's been here forever. These linebackers for Indiana, they all played as freshmen, Chris. They all took their lumps a couple of years ago. And you take a look at what they're doing in the super slow-mo. They're starting to deliver some lumps now.
Well, they're strikers. And first off, they close to the ball. And when they hit you, you go down. I mean, there's no run after the catch. Very athletic, led by that guy, Will Patterson. Move him around a lot. Scrape and sift linebackers.
Just seems like they've been here forever, doesn't it? Davis, good throw to the sidelines. Dante Love draws Phillips first and then gets help from his friends. Ball came loose, but the whistle had blown. And it's an 11-yard gain to a first down near the 44-yard line. Third member of our crew, Ashley Russell, down to the sidelines. Ashley?
Hey, guys. Well, last week was the first week that Indiana got a bye week off since the 2005 season. And it was a great week. Coach Lynch said he was a little disappointed that it was so early in the season, but he actually got to go watch his youngest son, Kevin, play ball at Franklin College, and it was a great game for Kevin. He got a 14-yard touchdown reception, and actually Franklin beat Butler 31-28. So great week for Coach Lynch.
On first down, Miquel Lewis, and again a whistle quickly as that ball came loose. Mirando jumped on it, but it will be ruled down by contact and a gain of a yard to the 45-yard line.
And partner, in a game of this magnitude that's so intense and adrenaline filled, it's going to be about ball security. Miquel Lewis has to protect the ball. Obviously ruled down there, but they're stripping and coming after it.
Well, and he ran right up the back of his blocker. And the ball came loose. Looked like it came loose before he was down. But again, when the whistle sounds, play is over. And now, penalty marker down.
Illegal substitution. Offense. 12 mid-set position. 5-yard penalty. Still second
Illegal
down.
substitution, the call by Bill LeMonnier. And I believe that we're going to make a change. Miquel Lewis was trying to get off the field and didn't do it in time.
And that's on the coaches.
And essentially what they had were they had too many men in the huddle or in the vicinity of the huddle, as this was the case here.
Right.
There's Brady Hoke. Kind of a bookkeeping error there, would you say? Second down and 14 at the 40-yard line of Ball State. Nate Davis steps up, got by Burris, gets out across the 45-yard line. Matt Mayberry able to get him down, the junior linebacker out of Darien, Illinois. And it'll be a third down coming up.
Well, Kellen Lewis is a guy that runs by defenders. Nate Davis can shrug off defenders. He's a big kid at 6'2", just a hair under 220 pounds. But he's physical, and his coach says he has a way of just getting that forearm shiver to keep the defense off of him. Not going to threaten you with his feet, but he's agile and he can move.
3rd and 9. Ball State 58.6% on third down conversions thus far this season. Davis, good protection initially. Now being flushed. On the run, got his man. It's the true freshman wide receiver, Briggs Orsbon. And he's got a first down into Indiana territory to the Hoosier 29, 35-yard pass play.
Well, now you're seeing why the coaches are in love with this kid. I mean, watch this jump cut that he makes. First off, great route, but then after this, he has the wiggle, a little jump cut there. That stop and start move, beautiful. Briggs Orsbon, just a nice cutback.
Scored his first career touchdown against Navy. Scored again last week at Akron. Been a pleasant surprise. First down for the Cardinals, just inside the Hoosier 30. Lewis able to get to the sidelines, forced out of bounds by Matt Mayberry, with Christopher Phillips helping out. Tonight's principal edge of the game is what, partner?
Well, for Ball State, it's that offense, that high-octane 488 yards per game offense, 15th in the country. And they're going to be going up against that defense that's very stingy. In fact, they lead the Big Ten Conference right now in yards allowed per game.
Penalty marker down in the vicinity of line play. And I think this one's going against Indiana on that last play. sometimes they will call holding.
Following the play, personal foul, 56, defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
That's a big one. Gino Johnson, after the play was over, I thought where they threw the flag, Chris, sometimes they will call actually defensive holding where a defender will try to hold a blocker from getting out and executing a block on the flank. But that was not the case. It was worse than that.
Yeah. Costly mistake.
From the 14-yard line of Indiana, Ball State bidding for the lead. Davis rifles it in to the big tight end Darius Hill, close to the first down near the 4-yard line of Indiana. Phillips and Kleinsmith on the stop. This trip to the red zone brought to you by Hotels.com.
And we saw a look there at Darius Hill. He causes all kinds of matchup problems. He's a hybrid, kind of a tight end body with wide receiver skills and athleticism.
As you saw from that graphic a moment ago, these guys have not been denied inside the red zone. 8 touchdowns, 3 field goals. Miquel Lewis, the long setback, he gets it. Good read and a touchdown. Oh, are they going to rule a touchdown? It looked like he reached it over, but they're going to mark him inside the 1. Greg Middleton brought him down.
We talked about that offensive line, and they got good pad level, low surge. Miquel Lewis has a nice hole to just run through and push the pile. Keep in mind, Indiana's defensive line against the run play last year was porous at best, so they've tried to get stronger and more physical up front. This is going to be their test.
Double tights on the line, tight end on the wing. Lewis straight up the gut, touchdown, Ball State. First half touchdown yielded by the Indiana defense this season.
Well, there are players that just spark their team and give their team tremendous confidence, and I would say that about Miquel Lewis. Again, he didn't play in this game a season ago, and he's just a spark plug. He's a 5'6" back, but he runs much bigger, has a lot of strength, and gets behind his pads.
Ian Mcgarvey for the point after. And he's got it through the uprights. One of the better kickers in the country. Just a sophomore out of Greenwood, Indiana. Well, Brady Hoke's Cardinals, undaunted, roar into the lead. 7-3 Ball State. First quarter. Ball State leading it 7-3. A 10-play, 80-yard drive, and the end of it was very easy.
Well, we talked about the battle of the trenches, and watch just getting washed down. All these guys, nice job by Dan Mcgarvey, just pushing down the nose tackle, and a big running lane for Miquel Lewis.
Kickoff, bounding inside the 20. Somebody better get on it, and they do. My goodness. Brendan Walker-Roby able to gather it in. That ball's live. It's up for grabs for both sides, fellas. Well, there is Dante Love in the offense. And take a look at this. You got it, I got it. Anybody have it? Somebody better get it, because otherwise that B.J. Hill would have had it, and it would have been Ball State ball. Big Ten Tonight, your ultimate source for all things Big Ten, including highlights, analysis of all of today's football action, interviews, and much more. Big Ten Tonight, 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 Central, only on the Big Ten Network. First and 10, Indiana. Kellen Lewis on his first carry of the night gets a yard out to the 20-yard line. Drew Duffin made the stop on the play.
Well, that's a comfort call for offensive coordinator Matt Canada. Every coach has one. Things get backed up. You can expect Kellen Lewis to start using his legs.
He is explosive. Came in averaging over 18 rushing yards per carry. An ungodly number. Lewis looking to create. Has to take it on his own. David Jones chasing him down on the far side. Got some support from the safety man, Derrick Henry. Kellen Lewis just short of that first down by about 2 yards on a gain of 7.
Well, dual threat quarterbacks are so dangerous, particularly when they break contain and when he gets outside, because corners are looking the other direction. This is a nice job of closing and getting to Kellen Lewis.
Third down and 2 for Indiana. Demetrius McCray alongside Lewis in the shotgun. Everybody out for a pass. Lewis getting flushed. They blitz David Jones, the linebacker, and Kellen Lewis makes a play. Out across the 35 to an Indiana first down near the 38-yard line. A scamper of 10 yards.
If you're going to come after Kellen Lewis, you cannot let him get outside to the perimeter. You have to box him in. Put a fence around him. You see everybody get washed out. That's all he's looking for is a little spacing.
They brought the inside linebacker David Jones up the middle, but lost contain on the outside. On first down, going deep for Means, and he's got it! Oh, a sensational catch by Andrew Means at the 15-yard line of Ball State.
Sensational catch, even better throw to put that ball right out there in stride. Good blocking up front, and I mean, good job, good adjustment, body control. Andrew Means, he locates the football.
47-yard pass play. Demetrius McCray, not much on that inside run, gain of a yard down to the 14 of Ball State. Well, we talked about explosives in this game all week. We've been talking about it, and we're getting some early on.
Well, when you have two superstar quarterbacks on both sides, you expect big-time plays.
This trip to the red zone is brought to you by Hotels.com. Indiana, 8 of 10, has scored 8 times in 10 trips to the red zone.
And they've been staying in no backs.
It's a 5-receiver set. 3-man rush intended for Fisher, broken up nicely at the 5-yard line. Very well played by Sam Woodward. Weak side linebacker. Indiana goes without a huddle, facing 3rd and 9. Hoosiers coming in 32% on 3rd down. That's one area they'd like to improve. Lewis, lots of time going for Means, broken up nicely this time. Trey Bice, who had good position on the 47-yard pass play and was outfought for the ball, that time responded beautifully.
Oh, no question about it. Well, folks, this is about as well as you can play a corner route. Watch his close, and he goes inside with his long arm to knock that out. Excellent job, isolated one-on-one coverage. Good job by Bice making the play.
Austin Starr and about a 31-yard field goal attempt to make it a 1-point game. Right down the boulevard. So the Hoosiers get a big play, but are only able to cash for 3 more. It's a 1-point ball game, just over 5 minutes to go. First quarter in Bloomington. Nate Davis and the Cardinal offense waiting to come back onto the field. Their lead down to 1 off a 31-yard field goal by Austin Starr. A 67-yard drive, 47 of which came on a big pass play between Kellen Lewis and Andrew Means. 8 plays, 67 yards. It is 7-6. Ball State. Dante Love back deep.
Talk about lane integrity on this coverage. You cannot create a crease because he will take it the distance.
Starr's kick 5 yards deep. Love is told to wait a minute. Hang in there.
That's one way to stop him.
We'll take it at the 20-yard line. Looking to enhance your game day experience? Presenting the Rotel Ultimate Tailgate Package Sweepstakes. You could win an incredible grand prize package featuring a grill, barbecue set, delicious Rotel products, and everything else you'll need to support your team or other great weekly prizes. To enter, log on to Big10Network.com and fill out an entry form. Wayne Larrabee, Chris Martin, Ashley Russell. Under the lights in Bloomington, Indiana. Nate Davis and the Ball State Cardinals first down, leading by a point from their own 20-yard line. Darius Grant in motion. Big hole for a moment. Breaking tackles is Lewis on a move off right guard. Remember last year, Ball State came in here very one-dimensional because Miquel Lewis suffered a season-ending knee injury earlier in the year at Nebraska. They rushed for just 67 yards on 32 running attempts last year. They should do much better tonight.
Well, he's like a bowling ball. He's got low center of gravity, so you have to wrap him up. He's only 5'6", so he can get lost with the trash on the field, and that helps him sometimes to find running lanes.
Dante Love is at the bottom of your screen. Second down. Lewis cut back. Well, I tell you, we've got some runners in this game who'll do some shaking and baking out there. Those linebackers better get the ankles taped. First down, yardage by Miquel Lewis, Kleinsmith, and Burris on the tackle for Indiana.
Well, as we did our prep work on this game, you so much talk about Nate Davis. I thought the Indiana coaches would be more focused on the pass, but they said unequivocally they have to stop the run, and I think that's what we're seeing.
So does a first down for Ball State. Then an entertaining first quarter. That's Lewis Johnson to the bottom of your screen. Love is at the top.
That's the deep ball. They love the quick strike.
Lewis looking for Love. Incomplete. Pass through the hands of Darius Hill. Love was running a fly down the right sideline. Hill was curling it shorter, and the quarterback, Nate Davis, was under pressure almost from the start.
Well, that's because the bookends coming off the edge. Darius Hill, we talked about his long linear body. He sits down in the pocket, in the zone, just can't make the connection.
Second and 10. Davis 4 of 6, 60 yards passing. There's Darius Hill. 3 touchdowns already this season, 27 in his career, a school record. Lewis, big hole up the middle. Bowling balls his way to the 44 on a run of 11 yards and a first down. Nick Polk, the safety in the middle of the field, able to get him to the turf.
Wayne, sometimes when you have defensive fronts that are athletic and agile, they're usually less stout against the run. And right now, Indiana's front four, they're getting pushed around by the big offensive line of Ball State.
Indiana came in ranked 4th in the nation, giving up just 45 rushing yards per game, but they have not seen the likes of Miquel Lewis in their first 2 games. First and 10. Davis rifling. That's Hill inside the 40-yard line of Indiana to the 37. Darius Hill on the reception, Kleinsmith on the tackle. 20-yard gain.
Well, he's going to provide a slew of matchup problems. First off, he's too big for safeties. You see it right there. Kleinsmith struggling to get him on the ground. He's 6'5", but he's athletic and fast, so linebackers can't stick up with him. Watch that matchup. Safeties on Hill all night tonight.
And it looked like also Patterson had him early on that pattern and then kind of turned him loose to the secondary. First down for Ball State, driving steadily here. Late first quarter. Davis now being pressured. Throws it up for grabs in the end zone, and it is incomplete. Darius Grant, the intended receiver. You talk about a wing and a prayer. There it was.
Well, and you want your receiver, in this case tight end, go attack the football. I mean, he's got to go up and get it. That was a well-thrown ball. Certainly a catch that Darius Grant should have made.
But what a throw. It shows you the arm strength of Nate Davis, Chris, to be rolling one way, throw it all the way back with that kind of loft on it. I mean, that was like a wedge shot.
Across his body.
Second down and 10. Oh, what moves? What moves by Miquel Lewis, the junior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And they corral him after a gain of 5 down to the 33-yard line. Kleinsmith in from the secondary to help out on that tackle.
And watching this guy on tape this week, I'm not sure I recognize his shiftiness. I mean, watch him get his foot in the ground and cut. I mean, these are tremendous cuts. He gets in and out quickly. And again, talking about his low center of gravity, so you have to wrap him up.
36 yards already in this first quarter. Third down, Ball State. 33 of Indiana. Davis, good protection, and he threads the needle, and it's dropped incomplete. He hit Hill, the tight end, right in the numbers. Kleinsmith may have gotten a piece of it to tomahawk it out.
Well, and Davis is going to tell his tight ends, hey, guys, you guys got to step up and make plays. He's putting the ball in the numbers.
Yeah, he had it right there.
And that was too much body. Use the hands.
Exactly. Good point, partner. He had that right between the 8 and the 8 on the jersey of his big tight end, Darius Hill. So it's 4th down. And let's see, they're kind of in that no man's area. They're going for it. From the 33 of Indiana, 4th down for Ball State, 4th and 6. Davis, lots of time. This time the tight end latches on Darius Hill for a 1st down. 1st and goal inside the 10 at the 8-yard line of Indiana. Christopher Phillips, a cornerback, made the tackle. That was just too much time for that 25-yard pass
Well,
play. First
off, I'm baffled. This shows you 2 things. 1, the confidence that they have in their quarterback and their offense. And then 2, the disrespect to Indiana's defense. They do not think that Indiana can cover Darius Hill. He dropped the previous pass, comes back and makes a big play.
Hill is 6'6", 236. You said matchup problems when we were looking over the details for this one, and you're exactly right. 1st down and goal to go, Ball State, leading 7-6. Lewis waiting for his blocking, and that allowed the defense to recover. Boy, they have some holes opened up. They are filleting the Indiana defensive front. Curlew got over to bring him down after a gain of about 4 yards. Memorial Stadium at Indiana. Wayne Larrabee, Chris Martin, Ashley Russell is down on the sidelines. The Hoosier defense has been gashed here tonight in this first quarter as we wind down the first quarter. Ball State on the move. It is 7-6, but they are opening some holes, and another one there, and Miquel Lewis, his 2nd touchdown of the night.
And it's simply looking way too easy for Ball State. And we talked about the battle in the trenches. They have Indiana, the defensive line, on their heels, and they're just throwing them around up front. I mean, look at getting washed down. Get off blocks. You're talking about a powerful offensive line, as you mentioned, a very dominating one, particularly at the point of attack.
Ian Mcgarvey for the point after. And he's got it through. Ball State impressive. The Cardinals have put 2 big scoring marches on the board and now lead 14-6.
Wayne, if you look at Ball State, I mean, this season they've outscored their opponents 28-9 in the first quarter. So they get out the gates early. And they're showing that tonight. Watch this surge. Watch the bodies just get washed down. I mean, they're not even touching him until he's in the end zone.
And before Curlew could get there, you're right, Lewis was in the end zone, capping an 11-play, 80-yard drive. Took 4 minutes and 32 seconds off the clock. Superfans program has even more ways to earn points. Tune into every Big Ten Network game. Listen up for the in-game trivia question. Answer correctly online to earn 1,000 points. Go to www.big10network.com and follow the Superfans link. Tonight's question, who did Indiana defeat 34-10 in the 1988 Liberty Bowl? Big Pen trying to cut across the field. Gets out across the 20 to the 23-yard line on just a 13-yard kickoff return. Lewis, 2-yard touchdown run to cap that drive.
Well, Ball State's just shown tremendous balance. I mean, they've mixed in run, been able to run it when they want to run it, been able to throw it when they want to run it, or throw it rather. And you saw a critical 4th down conversion, which again, in my mind, shows you how much confidence they have in their offense, and then just they believe what they can do against Indiana.
Talking with Joe Palcic and Brian George, the co-defensive coordinators of the Hoosiers, they knew they were in to face a multi-dimensional offense here tonight. They were one-dimensional a year ago. Brian Payton gets the call on 1st down for Indiana. A nice hole up the middle and a gain of almost 8 yards. Sam Woodworth, a linebacker, on the stop. We take a look at the Advanced Auto Parts Road to the Championship standings. And after today's game, we'll show you the standings in the Big Ten after this play. And they'll be updated to today. Big Pen waiting for his blocking, able to spit it the other way. Oh, they faked it. Big Pen, a beautiful play fake. by Kellen Lewis, and he gets the first down on a 17-yard run.
Well, once again, if you're an outside linebacker, you're a corner, you cannot let him get outside. Force him back inside. That's where the help is coming from. The pursuit is coming from inside out. You can't let Kellen Lewis get out on the perimeter.
I promise you, we'll show you those standings in the Big Ten as we wind down the first quarter here in Bloomington. We will get to it. End of one quarter. There is a lot of momentum on the side of the visitors. Kellen Lewis and the Hoosiers are going to have to win a shootout, or so it appears. Brady Hoke and the Cardinals came in well prepared, and they got the lead at the end of one, 14-6. Ball State on top 14-6. 2 touchdown runs by Miquel Lewis. And I promised you the Advanced Auto Parts Road to the Championship standings. Look at Minnesota and Northwestern atop the Big Ten.
Your people's eyes are popping out.
Indiana resumes offensively, and Kellen Lewis gets about 3 on first down out to the midfield marker. 2nd and 7 coming up. In this first quarter, we've been talking about how Ball State has gashed Indiana up front. Look at the numbers, the rushing yardage. Remember, in that game last year, Ball State had 67 rushing yards total. They have 50 already in one quarter. Lewis, lots of time. Good move there. They get by Jones. Spilled to the turf on an excellent tackle made by the cornerback Trey Lewis at the 45-yard line of the Cardinals, and it's 3rd and 2 coming up for Indiana.
One thing about Kellen Lewis is he's very rarely tackled by the first tackler. I mean, he just makes David Jones just freaks him down. I mean, you get him out in space and he has that type of shiftiness and wiggle. Always going to make the first guy miss.
Look at the time of possession in that first quarter. Indiana 1 for 3 on 3rd downs. Kellen Lewis has a nice hole. Enough for the first down. And they stack him up at the 39-yard line. 1st and 10. Lewis on that first of about 6-7 yards.
And you see Coach Canada, offense coordinator for Indiana, going with his trump card. He knows what he's going to get, and Kellen Lewis calls the quarterback draw. Again, a very comfortable play for him. Look for him to work it around to his outside weapons, though.
Again, Indiana without a huddle. 4 receivers set. That's Thigpen to the right side of Lewis in the shotgun. The fake to Thigpen, Lewis on the drill. Tried to hit the seam to Terrence Turner. Broke it up nicely by Trey Bice. They've been going after Bice. They beat him once, but he has been equal to the task on 2 other pass plays.
Well, this is outstanding coverage. Watch his transition and drive to the ball. He times it up perfectly, and he knows it. I mean, watch the drive close. Big-time PBU.
You talk like you played that position. Chris Martin was a standout quarterback on the Rose Bowl team at Northwestern back in the mid-90s. 2nd down. Lewis under pressure. They blitz Meeks. Crawford misses Lewis. Lewis in a lot of trouble still, and down he goes. Finally the sack. Goodness. Back outside the 40-yard line. Sam Woodworth finally got him down, but first they came with Kenny Meeks, then Brandon Crawford, and finally the tackle made for a sack.
And then it turned into a PlayStation video game. I mean, look at what he does with his feet and how he keeps his eyes down the field, and he just makes people miss.
So it is 3rd down for Indiana. Football back at the 42-yard line of the Cardinals. Kellen Lewis over the middle, intercepted in the deep secondary by Alex Knipp. It'll be 1st down, Ball State near the 10-yard line of the Cardinals.
Bad throw by Kellen Lewis, obviously, but then his wide receiver certainly didn't help him slowing down on this route. Kellen Lewis expecting him to push it vertically. That was Ray Fisher, I believe, that just motored down. And he's throwing this ball expecting him to keep running. And at a minimum, Fisher could have avoided the interception.
So Alex Knipp, who was banged up earlier this week, was questionable for starting this game, gets his first interception of the season.
Give him some luck. Showed great range on that play.
1st down for Ball State just across their 10. Lewis spilled to the outside. Still on his feet. Kleinsmith gets him down to the 20-yard line, gain of 9. What a difference a running back makes. They did not have, I mean, Frank Edmunds, who's running 3rd string on this year's team, started the game last year for Ball State, and you get a look at the bowling ball effect you talked about earlier, Chris, of Miquel Lewis, the junior out of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Well, we talked to the coaches this week about Lewis back in that offense, and yeah, you kind of feel and talking to him he's going to make a difference, but he's an impact player. And I think Indiana wasn't prepared for his ability or wasn't expecting that type of ability.
Clancy is the fullback, Lewis the tailback. Lewis once again gave a dead leg to the defensive line, cut to his left, and then gets the first down out near the 24-yard line, gain of about 4. Patterson and Phillips on the stop. And again, what you see here is that Ball State offensive coordinator Stan Parrish kind of weaving in the run, lulling that secondary to sleep, getting those safeties and corners to come up and come up and come up, and then he's going to look for Dante Love.
Well, and the thing that Stan Parrish, offensive coordinator, does very well is mix up his packages, and that comes from his experience in the NFL. He likes different formations, different sets, a little bit of window dressing.
Yeah, he spent some time with John Gruden, won a Super Bowl down at Tampa. Nate Davis. And got his man out of bounds. That's Chris Clancy, normally a blocker. That time a good reception by the part of Clancy. Gain of 4. Geno Johnson, the linebacker, on the coverage.
It's hard to game plan tendencies because these guys just move the ball around so well. Led behind that guy, Nate Davis.
When we talk about Stan Parrish, you worked for Lloyd Carr on Michigan's national championship team of the late 90s, and as we mentioned, spent some time with John Gruden down at Tampa Bay. And Parrish worked with some good quarterbacks. Brian Greasy, Tom Brady, just to name 2. Drew Henson, a 3rd. Dante Love fumbled it. Picked up by Polk down the sideline. Gets a wide ball and an Indiana touchdown. 32-yard return.
That was an amazing play, but attention needs to go down to the guy on the sideline who's injured, because you could hear that hit in the booth.
Chris Atkins delivered the lumber, and the man who picked it up and took it in was Nick Polk. But goodness, what a hit on Dante Love, and he's still down. You hate to see a young man, anyone, get injured in a football game like that. But that was a hit, Chris. You're right. We could hear it up here. Listen to this.
That was unbelievable. That's the type of hit that can crack a helmet.
He put hat on ball, pad on pad. Ball came loose. Nick Polk in the end zone. The defense gets Indiana right back into it. Nick Polk picked up the loose ball, ran it down the sidelines. And take a look at this again. Watch the hit. Dante Love. Chris Atkins comes up. They both lower their helmets. And Dante Love went down, gave up the ball. Nick Polk scampers into the end zone to get Indiana back into the game. But you hate to see a hit like that. That's severe. And Dante Love is down on the field right now.
That was a major collision. They're bringing the cart out.
And that kind of takes the wind out of everybody's sails. This has been a spirited ball game to this point. And again, looking at it from behind the play now.
And rightfully so. I mean,
fans will ask, Chris, is this a legal hit based on what you see?
Well, they go helmet. Both guys put the helmets down.
I mean, that's the thing. Both guys put the helmet down, and you know, the one thing they always say in football is, you know, see what you hit. Yep. Make sure you keep your head up, because there could be injuries both ways. I mean, the defender could have been injured just as easily as the offensive player.
Sure, head up, neck bowed.
But and again, I'm not saying, Chris, that was an illegal hit or anything like that. It looked to me like 2 football players going at it, both lowered their helmet, and boom.
Right.
There's Chris Atkins. I'm sure he, no question, he feels bad about the outcome of the play in terms of the injury factor. A lot of concerned faces on both sides. And you know, a situation like this, again, this takes the wind out of the sails of both sides.
Yeah, and it should. I mean, it puts it all in perspective here.
It's a big-time, hard-hitting sport. We're talking about a collision sport here, folks, not a physical. This is collision.
Yeah. It's not contact sport, it's collision sport.
Yep.
I think sometimes, you know, as fans, we build up the athletes, we think they're invincible. I think it's important to know that situations like this, they're human. You know, their thoughts. Don't think for a second that Chris Atkins, who applied that hit, isn't thinking about Dante Love.
And Ball State folks that came over here from Muncie looking on. And this is one of the great playmakers in the country, Dante Love. You may not have heard much about him outside of the MAC conference, but believe me, he's one of the top players in the country. Came into this game leading the country in all-purpose yardage. And again, as they tend to Dante Love, we'll take another timeout here. Indiana trailing by 2. Players from both teams praying a bit right now. Ball State and Indiana. Dante Love, if you've just joined us, was coming out to the flank on a play. He had some room down the sideline with a little swing pass, and Chris Atkins came up and delivered a hit that forced a fumble. And from what we could tell, we don't know for sure, may have knocked out Dante Love. And then Nick Polk picked up the fumble and ran it into the end zone. But there's the hit right there. And unfortunately, the two players helmet to helmet. And
literally, we could hear that hit up here in the booth. And just the impact of the blow.
They're being very careful, I would imagine, hopefully for precautionary reasons, because you just don't want to take a chance that on the Indiana sidelines, everyone down on one knee, and no one likes to see this happen ever in a football game. It does happen on occasion, and that's just a fact of life in this collision sport. But Chris, you know, this is very hard. I would imagine first off, it takes a long time to take a player who's immobilized and escort him off the field, carry him off the field essentially in the cart. It takes a lot of time. But number two, you know, when you look at it, you've been in these situations. How hard is it to crank it back up here in a few minutes and get back to playing football?
Well, you're exactly right. As a former player, I can tell you that has gone through this. One of the hardest things is going back out there and snapping up that chin strap and getting back in play, because part of you is thinking about your teammate, your brother, and part of it's on football.
Yeah, and you know, they play on opposite sides, but you know, there's a brotherhood, I would imagine, Chris, with football players, that once you step in between those lines, yeah, it certainly is competition, but you know, there's somewhat of a family aspect of it, a comrade feeling with both players from both sides, I would imagine, you know.
And the human element, just the human element about it. You see the family, I presume, coming out.
His mom and Brady Hoke, the head coach, trying to reassure her.
Hey man, get out.
And
you know, let the family have it.
Just talk about Dante Love as a player too. I mean, you mentioned some of the stats, and he's one of the most electric players in the country. You talk about him in the return game as a wide receiver. He leads the nation in receiving yards. And they use him at running back just so they can get him 15 to 20 touches. Truly a scat back that's a question mark to get to the end zone every time he touches the ball, rather.
That's his dad there, I believe, next to Coach Hoke. Put his helmet on. And now, round of applause from the fans here. And again, we just hope that basically this is precautionary, and they will take every care they possibly can to make sure they get him the attention he needs.
See all his teammates running over.
His teammates hopefully reassuring him, and obviously, very difficult situation, Chris. You know, I've observed this game for a long time, but never played it at this level, obviously. But you wonder, how can these kids get it back in gear? This is something that you mentally just have to put behind you and go forward and play the game. I mean, we still have the better part of the second quarter and all of the second half to play. It's very difficult because you're right. There's a human element to this whole thing. And these players are competitors, but they're also comrades, too.
Yeah. And I think particularly the very next play mentally will be the hardest. And then I think they'll be able to get back into the rhythm of the game.
Dante Love heading off.
Looking at one great football player.
Keeping him immobile and heading off to medical attention. Yes, indeed, a great football player, and you hate to see that happen to anybody on any level.
And just how tough he is and scrappy. I mean, talking to the offensive coordinator this week, they said they'd line him up at running back. I mean, he's 179 pounds, and they'll run him between the tackles. So it speaks to his toughness, it speaks to his moxie, and again, his talent.
So as Dante Love heads off, and one more look at it. Extra point by Austin Starr is good. And it's a one-point ball game. Ball State on top 14-13. The injured Ball State Starr.
And I honestly think, Wayne, with that extra point sort of interjecting in there, it may make for a little easier transition instead of just having to line up and kind of go muscle to muscle on a regular play.
So after a lengthy delay, and understandably so, the game resumes. And again, Chris, you just hope that they're doing this, every precaution being taken. Obviously, saw Dante move his head there just a second ago.
Preparing to kick off for the Hoosiers.
Hope it's just, again, that it is not going to be a long-term injury situation for Dante Love. Our prayers are with him. Real Gibson is back deep to receive this kickoff from Austin Starr. High kick, a yard deep. Gibson out close to the 20-yard line, or it'll be 1st and 10. Ashley Russell, what do you have for us?
Well, guys, I'm right here on the sidelines. I'm actually watching them put Dante Love into the ambulance, assuming they're taking him to Bloomington Hospital. What I did find out from the trainer was he has numbness and tingling. Now, he doesn't have any pain in his neck, but that's all we know right now. But he's definitely out, for the rest of the game. And obviously a very, very bad blow this early on.
And hopefully we'll get some more information when it's available a little bit later on tonight. Hopefully it'll be the kind of information we can reassure people about the situation. Meanwhile, on 1st down, Indiana defense flows to the football. And Miquel Lewis loses about 3 yards. Back to the 17. Ryan Miranda, who played so well. Miranda had a great game last week against Murray State with a sack and forced a couple of fumbles. Number 35 made the stop.
Well, he's a great defensive end, and again, a hybrid player. He has a chance to actually lead this team in sacks this season, particularly with the attention that goes to Kerwin and Middleton.
2nd down. Davis got a man wide open, and he's got it. Tumbling across the 50-yard line. The wide receiver, Miles Shrimp, a sophomore out of Springfield, Ohio. 34-yard gain on what appeared to be blown coverage in the secondary.
Yeah, and again, a beautiful throw by Nate Davis. And Miles Trent uses just about every inch of his 6'4" frame to lay out and pull this ball in. Great ball placement, outside shoulder. And as you said, getting behind the defensive back, Chris Adkins.
Behind Chris Adkins, who, again, you wonder about the emotional aspect of this situation. He's the man who made the hit on Dante Love a moment ago. It may take a few plays for him to get back into the game, and understandably so. But as it is now, Ball State on the move to the Indiana 49. Davis to the air again, and this one incomplete. Intended for Grant, the tight end. Now for Nissan's What It Takes to Get There. And this week we focus on Memorial Stadium here in Bloomington. And Memorial Stadium in the north end zone undergoing a $55 million project. 24,000 square foot strength and conditioning center. Stadium capacity when it's all said and done will be 53,500. Nissan Shift Performance. 2nd and 10. Miquel Lewis for about 4 yards to the 45-yard line. And it'll be a 3rd down coming up.
Indiana starting to cheat up their linebackers to provide some added help against the run. Corners are staying back in soft zone coverage. Look for Nate Davis go back to the air, particularly in the middle of the field.
3rd down. Just under 9 minutes to go, 2nd quarter.
Watch tight end Darius right there in the slot.
Davis, for lots of time, now being flushed by Mirando. He's got Tripp, touchdown! What a throw! What an adjustment! 45-yard touchdown pass.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have trouble finding words to describe the throw he just made. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. I mean, watch it, the feel to slide out. Watch how he makes this throw. This thing's like right in stride. Off balance, on the back foot.
And Christopher Phillips, you saw him tumble on his back, and he's still down in the corner of the end zone. Meanwhile, the celebration on the Cardinals sideline. Myles Tremp
stepping his game up.
2 big plays on this drive by Myles Tremp. And Ball State leads it 20-13.
Sees his comrade go down, and Dante Love, he knows he has to step up his game and make a big play, and he did it.
I wonder if Chris Phillips, the way he fell, Chris, it almost looked like he might have had the wind knocked out of him. Fell hard on his back trying to recover to make a play on the ball. And Nate Davis, boy, I tell you, well, I think it's more than the wind knocked out of him, obviously. And it may have been the way he planted that leg as he went up into the air. Indiana already playing without Austin Thomas due to injury tonight. Watch this again. Watch. Yeah, I think it's the way he came down, maybe on his left leg. Chris Phillips. And Tremp made a great adjustment. Nate Davis now 190 yards passing on 10 of 15.
Goodness, talk about his arm, and this is history on him. I mean, it's just, he has a major league arm, and the way he can fire it, he doesn't have to be in perfect form to do it.
Ian Mcgarvey, point after. Five plays, 80 yards. Nate Davis still has enough weapons to do battle in Bloomington. And Ball State leads it 21-13 in the 2nd quarter. Myles Tremp with catches of 34 and 45 yards. How about the quarterback, Nate Davis? Look at this throw.
Well, you talk about off his back foot, his legs were crossed, and across his body. It's, as a quarterback coach, this is everything you would teach not to do, but when you have a strong enough arm like Nate Davis, you can do it.
It looked like the Nike logo on it. Like the Jordan logo on. Unreal. Big Ben able to get it out across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Fans get jacked up with our Big Ten live cast featuring live interactive sportscast for all Big Ten games. Get real-time stats, photos, chat, and more for all of today's Big Ten football action. There is no other real-time sports experience like it on the web today. The Big Ten live cast, everything a Big Ten fan could want. Go to BigTenNetwork.com/livecast right now.
Where Kellen Lewis, the field general, has to pull his guys back together and put together a long drive.
Up the middle, big bang, first down and more. Across the 40 to the 43-yard line on a gain of 16 yards.
Well, you talk about Thigpen, he's still evolving as a running back. You know about his top end speed, and he's a straight line guy. He is one cut and he's out. I mean, that is what you're going to get. He gets between the tackles, gets his shoulder pads down, but he's looking to make one cut, and then he accelerates.
Big Ben 100 yards on just 7 carries against Murray State 2 weeks ago. A 31-yard touchdown burst and a 67-yard touchdown run career long. Lewis running option. Out to the midfield marker. Good second effort. Ashley, we saw Christopher Phillips, the cornerback, go down on the Ball State touchdown. How's he doing on the sidelines?
Yeah, guys, I just talked to IU, and they said that Chris Phillips is out for the entire game with a knee injury. So that news on this side of the ball, too, guys.
Yeah, the way he planted that foot and then felt flat on his back, you could tell he's hurting, and that's another injury the defense will have to deal with in the secondary. Meanwhile, Thigpen picks up the first down to move the chains to the 45-yard line of Ball State. Drew Duffin on the tackle.
Talked about Indiana still waiting for a running back to take ownership of the position. Thigpen 2 weeks ago, as you said, partner, went for over 100 yards in the first half against Murray State. His stepping out, but so far they've been using him as a complimentary back along with Brian Payton.
Thigpen, a co-captain of this team, a senior. Lewis takes it himself. Dante, he can break ankles, can he? Inside the 30, dancing to the 28-yard line. That's a 17 or 18-yard run. B.J. Hill finally brought him down to the deep secondary.
Well, offensive coordinator for Indiana, Matt Kenna, is a great coordinator, but he can't teach this. I mean, the moves that he makes when he gets flushed out, you talk about it's a good thing that they're taped up down there because there are a lot of ankles down on the carpet.
First down. Payton straight ahead. Close to the 20-yard line. Gain of almost 8 yards. Sean Baker in the secondary on the stop for Ball State. Partner, strap on your seatbelt.
I truly believe in college today, one of the toughest things to stop is a dual threat quarterback.
Payton on the toss. Trying to cut it back. Oh, good play made by the linebacker on that play. Coming over to make the hit was Bryant Haynes, the senior, out of Piqua, Ohio.
See him flow down, push it back to your help. Good defense is knowing where your help is. Ball State did a good job that time of playing tight in the interior.
Robert Edmunds on the outside of that play. Able to force it back in. Third down for Indiana. Third and about 2. Lewis alone on the shotgun. Takes it himself. First down and more. Inside the 15-yard line. Down close to the 12-yard line of Ball State. First down for Indiana on a gain of 9 yards.
Well, Indiana found itself in a shootout, and then they've gone to their biggest gun, and that's Kellen Lewis with his legs. Talked about how he is a polished passer, but make no mistake about it, they're going to what works, and it's usually when he tucks the ball in and runs.
Well, we said we had 2 of the top junior quarterbacks in the country here tonight. They're both shining. They're done. Inside the 5. Sam Woodworth on the touchdown saving tackle. And it looks to be a first and goal of the 1.
Talk about Thigpen. We said he likes to make one cut and go. There it is. Makes a cut and just goes full speed ahead. He's a track guy, 10-3 and 100 meters, so you know he can run.
Lewis keeps it. Touchdown! Kenny Meeks had a shot at him, but Kellen Lewis, as you've seen, pretty slippery.
And Sean, he spent some offseason in the weight room. I mean, watch this stiff arm. It's Meeks up here, able to break loose. He's all 185 pounds, I think.
I guess. A stiff arm, I wouldn't call it.
Maybe not a stiff arm, but he's able to run through. I think every bit 185 pounds.
Austin Starr's point after is good. Kellen Lewis engineers the Hoosier drive. Indiana charges right back to within 1. Just over 5 minutes to go. Second quarter in Bloomington. Welcome back to beautiful Indiana. The Sample Gates looking out on Kirkwood Avenue. just off campus. Ball State in the white, Indiana the crimson. Wayne Larrabee along with Chris Martin, Ashley Russell. Great to have you with us. 9-play, 73-yard scoring drive a moment ago for the Hoosiers. Austin Starr's kickoff. About 5 yards deep in the end zone. And they will not return. Shereel Gibson downs it. Find out what it takes to be a football player in the Big Ten. Go behind the scenes with Coach Ron Zook and the Illini every week on Illinois Football The Journey. Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Well, Kellen Lewis came alive on that last drive for Indiana with 39 rushing yards on the drive, including the last yard for the touchdown. And all of it on the ground. Meanwhile, Nate Davis has done much of his work through the air. But he's got Ball State 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 20-yard line. Sykes to the outside, gets a nice block. Beats Patterson to the corner, and he's thrown out of bounds near the 34-yard line. About a 14, make it 15-yard gain to the 35.
This kid's quick as a hiccup. Watch him take it and explode. I mean, only 5'6", 5'7", but he's got another gear.
Graduated from high school in May of 2006, enrolled at Ball State in January 2007, and was redshirted for last season. So he's a redshirt freshman out of Harvey, Illinois. Take a look at the number of yards allowed in this ball game by IU so far. Good quick throw. Orsbon, who had a good first quarter, will latch on there for a gain of 6 to the 41. Richard Council now playing in place of the injured Christopher Phillips, who's out for the rest of the ball game with a knee injury. But Council is going to play a lot. The coaches told us he'd play a lot here tonight. And so he's going to play even more than they expected.
And I think the challenge for Indiana's defensive coordinators is that they're playing soft zone. They don't want to man up against the receivers to protect their corners. Then you got to still get pressure in Nate Davis.
Sykes getting to the outside. No. Well played by Geno Johnson, the outside linebacker. Senior from Bartow, Florida.
Good job of just being relentless and fighting and keeping that motor going to the other side. And, you know, Corey Sykes is about 155 pounds, so once he gets his hands on him, Johnson does a nice job putting him on the ground.
Fought through the block of Kyle Cornwall. And now it's 3rd down for the Cardinals. Football at the Ball State, just beyond the 38-yard line of Ball State. Davis under a blitz, over the middle, got his man Hill, short of the first down. Polk responded with Curlew on the tackle. But I'll tell you, Nate Davis hung in there to make this throw. He was under a blitz.
Well, he showed great poise under pressure, staring down the barrel. Again, Indiana doing something they haven't done very much tonight, bringing the blitz, puts their corners and linebackers in one-on-one situations. Nice job of executing and getting home.
Nick Polk back deep to receive this punt from Chris Miller. Miller, a Ray Guy Award candidate.
First team timeout.
And Ball State takes a timeout here. So that's their first timeout of the night. 2:53 to go in this second quarter. Indiana's defense finally gets a stop. And the game a 1-point decision thus far as Coach Randy Hope gathers his squad. And Bill Lynch knows his team still has a heck of an opponent to contend with here. Coming up at halftime, around the Big Ten on the halftime show, the Buffalo Wild Wings halftime show. Dave, Howard, and Jerry will take you around the Big Ten today. Stats and highlights of all the games. That's the Buffalo Wild Wings halftime show. Coming up a little more than 2 minutes away.
I mean, with both of these high-octane offenses, you really have to avoid quick strikes. If you're on the defensive side of the ball, make them earn everything they get and sustain and engineer long drives down the field.
Chris Miller now set to punt it away. Not sure why Ball State would have called a timeout there unless they were running out of time on the play clock. Fisher lets it go. Oh, it backs up beautifully. My goodness. I didn't see a wet shot like that during the Ryder Cup today. That was beautiful. 51-yard punt. Indiana pinned back inside its 5-yard line. Chris Miller, well done.
Yeah, no doubt.
So the Hoosiers backed up. They have all 3 timeouts remaining. Watch it again.
Great punt. You talk about
the right decision by Fisher there, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, you're at the 10-yard line. If it's going to go over your head, you let it go. Take your chances.
That's what you're taught to do.
So the Hoosiers. Lewis works some magic here from 97 yards away. Demetrius McRae gets him some working room out across the 10 to the 11-yard line on a gain of almost 9 yards. Renee Perry, the nose tackle. Derrick Henry, the free safety on the stop.
Well, if Thigpen's your burst guy, Payton's your power guy, this kid, Demetrius McRae, is a little combination of both. Physically, he's about 205, 210 pounds, runs with toughness, but he also has the burst.
2 tight ends on the line for Indiana. Ooh, my goodness, he had that first down for a moment, and then the Sam linebacker, the middle linebacker, Kenny Meeks, came over and made the hit. Watch the door. Slammed shut. I beg your pardon, that was not Meeks. That was Bryant Haynes on that tackle.
Yeah, he's on the Butkus watch list. He brings it every single play.
Indiana getting the play from the sidelines at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and short. Three tight ends in the game. Payton stumbled in the backfield over his own blocker, but able to recover to get the first down across the 15-yard line. Near the 18. So Brian Payton picks it up. And now let's see if Indiana tries to switch things up. Yep, they go for the 2 tight end look. Spread the field. So Lewis back into the shotgun. Spreads the field with 4 receivers. Everybody out for a pass. Overshot. Fisher intercepted and back the other way. This is Sean Baker to the 10 to the 5. He's a touchdown maker for Ball State.
Wow. Baker, who returns it for a touchdown.
Sean Baker. Well, last week he was the Walter Camp Foundation National Defensive Player of the Week with 3 interceptions and a fumble return to the house. And how about this? Kellen Lewis forcing the ball here. Clearly shouldn't have thrown that to Fisher in double coverage. But you think about this kid, he knows how to finish and get to the house.
Redshirt freshman out of Canfield, Ohio, Sean Baker. Oh my goodness, what a 2 weeks he's had, Chris. 4 interceptions, 2 touchdowns scored. And the extra point is good, and Ball State reverses fortunes right away, and now they lead 28-20. Indiana was just starting to crank it up. They had gotten out from deep in their own territory, spread the field, ready to go, and had 3 timeouts left. And all of a sudden,
talk about Kellen Lewis forcing the action. And we talked to the coaches this week of Ball State about Sean Baker, and they say he just always knows where to be. And you saw it there, played center field, but he also knows how to finish. He wasn't just happy with intercepting it, he wanted to get to the house. I mean, you know, players to put up those type numbers, it usually takes a season, and he's put them up in 2 weeks.
Indeed. Kellen Lewis' last 2 passes were both complete to Sean Baker.
And that's just why you have to play a complete 60 minutes. I mean, you look at how the game has changed, just the momentum that quickly, all that happened in the play.
I mean, Indiana was just getting ready to crank things up and maybe a quick strike to take the lead at halftime, and now they're down 28-20.
It changes the whole conversation going in that locker room.
Jake Hogue getting set to kick it away. Short kick. Thigpen. Still on his feet. To the 40. Out close to the 45-yard line. 28-yard return off a short kick.
Well, we've seen return guy extraordinaires on both sides of the ball. I mean, talk about the fireworks Thigpen. Look at him kind of skidding, scattering. But boy, offensively, I mean, if you like offense, this game is what it is all about.
All right, Indiana's got field position. They're their 44-yard line, Chris. Only 56 seconds to go in the half, but they do have 3 timeouts remaining. Let's see what they try here. They've spread the field. 2 receivers at the top of your screen. There are actually 2 to the bottom as well. Lewis through the hands of Brandon Walker-Roby, almost picked away by Trey Bice. And he would have been down the sideline scoring. Yeah, if you like offense, even by defensive players, I mean, we've seen 2 defensive touchdowns in this game. Goodness.
Well, I'm a defensive guy, and I just love the offense that you're seeing. You can't not like it.
2nd down and 10. Lewis high on that throw to Means. Kellen's got to settle down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly right. I was just about to go there with it. He just needs to come back into composure. A little bit rattled after the pick you would expect him to be, but he has to settle in. And that's a ball that he should put on the numbers.
.48 seconds to go in the half. Indiana still 3 timeouts remaining. 2nd and 10. Make it 3rd and 10. Nearly picked off there. Trying to hit Means again. Pass thrown a little bit high and behind Means. And Kellen really struggling with the accuracy right now. That ball almost picked off again by Trey Bice.
Well, he's struggling with the accuracy, and I think he's also struggling with the communication with his receiver.
Maybe, yeah, exactly. Some of these you wonder, the pass is so far off. When you see a pass way off the mark, Chris, you have to wonder, okay, did the receiver zig when the quarterback threw the zag or what? You know, that kind of thing.
And Coach Lynch knows that he needs to settle his quarterback down and bring him back under composure.
Aguirre pump, caught at the 8-yard line. B.J. Hill out across the 15. I would think if I'm Ball State leading 28-20, 32 seconds to go in the half, 47-yard punt there. Not sure I'd try anything here, but we'll see. Coming up on a halftime with Ball State leading 28-20. Let's see what the Cardinals try here. Well, they've got 2 receivers and a single back.
Wind this thing down.
I think you're right.
That momentum going into the locker room.
Why take a chance and have something bad happen? Miquel Lewis out close to the 20-yard line, a gain of 3. Keith Burris, who made the start in place of Dante Mack, who was injured on the stop. And I think both sides going to head to the locker room. Now, we've seen fireworks both ways. We've seen defenses each score a touchdown. Brady Hope and the Cardinals of Ball State out of the MAC at the end of one half, led by their quarterback, Nate Davis, have the lead at halftime here at Indiana, 28-20. Let's get down to the sidelines and Ashley Russell. Ashley?
Hey, Coach, what are key things that this team needs to do, your defense needs to do to turn the game around?
Well, we got to slow them down. Nate's had a great first half and got some big hits, and you know, we've got to control the run. We got to put a little pressure on him, and then the other side of it, offensively, we kind of got out of rhythm there at the end of the half and gave him a cheap score. So, you know, it's going to be a shootout game, so we just got to get in there and kind of regroup. We'll be all right.
Talk about Kellen Lewis's performance and what do you want to see from him the second half?
He's made a lot of plays, and he's very, very important to our offense. So we just got to regroup and come back out and play our football.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. And again at halftime, 48 points between the two teams. 14 points scored between the two defenses. My goodness. We got a good one going here. Prime time in the Big Ten on a beautiful night in Bloomington, Indiana. Kellen Lewis has had good moments and bad. Defense has scored here tonight both ways. Ball State leads by 8. Halftime guys are coming up next.
The first time this year. All right, the Hoosiers down by 8 to Ball State at the half. keys to the second half, Coach?
One of the best things about Kellen Lewis is he can beat you with his arm or his legs. I say tonight he should beat Ball State with his legs, run more options. He's not on as a passer. He'll mix the pass in, run the option. They can't tackle him.
No, they certainly can't tackle him. But on the defensive side of the football, Greg Middleton's being double-teamed. Someone else on the defensive line has to be able to take advantage of that and come up with some plays to create some pressure.
Now the Hoosiers trying to remain perfect. Ball State, meanwhile, trying to end what has been a very difficult run for them, to say the least. 0-43 all-time against teams from the Big 6 BCS conferences. 0-19 against the Big 10. They are, however, just 30 minutes away from ending that streak. We'll see whether the Hoosiers can get something done here in the second half. Coach talking about Kellen Lewis, the touchdown run there. They'll need more of that in the second. It's 28-20. Cardinals, second half coming up.
Ball State leading under the lights in our primetime offering, 28-20. Wayne Larrabee along with Ashley Russell, who's on the sidelines. Chris Martin up here in the booth. Chris, we had so much offense in that first half. It spilled over to defense, didn't it?
Well, we've been getting exactly what we thought. But if you look at Indiana's defense, they came in leading the conference and only giving up 215 yards a game. So far, they've already blown through that. So they've had a tough time stopping Nate Davis. He's already thrown for over 200 yards.
Key plays in that first half made by defense. And the Miquel first half stats, take a look at the numbers Chris was talking about. The rushing yards, a lot of that's Kellen Lewis for Indiana. But Ball State has some balance to their offense. Those 81 yards, very effective by Miquel Lewis.
Well, they talked about having to stop the run if you're Indiana. So far, a lot of balance for Ball State.
Key plays, I mentioned the defense. Watch this hit right here. Unfortunately, that knocked Dante Love out of the ball game. Nick Polk picked up and ran it into the end zone for a touchdown. And then Kellen Lewis. Overthrow here, trying to hit Fisher. And Sean Baker, the current defensive player of the week nationally, is in the end zone of the touchdown.
That's the one that'll break your back, giving that up just before the half. We talked about swinging the momentum to Ball State as they went into the locker room.
So Nate Davis had a big first half, 12 of 17, 201 yards, and a touchdown. And there are the numbers for the two quarterbacks. The comparison, Kellen Lewis struggled, especially late in that first half of play. Kickoff to start the second half. Big pen. Out close to the 20, just beyond the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 coming up from there.
Indiana getting a chance to come out and insert their offense out the chute. We're going to see if Kellen Lewis is in fact become more composed. He's the leader of the team. He's the field general. He looked erratic going into the half. Let's see if he settled down.
So Kellen Lewis, as he goes, generally so go the Hoosiers. And he didn't go so well late in that first half of play, as we pointed out. 1st and 10, football to the 22. Demetrius McCray trying to cut it back, and Haynes, the linebacker, over to make the stop. Gain of 3 to the 25. And it's 2nd down coming up.
Now, be the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, coming into this game, it's really a tough defense to prepare for. It's a 3-4, so it's giving you a different look than what you've been seeing. And based on the teams that they've played, they played against Navy that runs option football, so it's really hard to prepare coming into this game.
McCray, nice cut back there. At the first down to the 34-yard line. Well blocked up front. Brian Haynes on the stop.
And watch the physicality up front. The line play. Can Indiana's offensive line play with strong hands and move the front 3 of Ball State?
Staying with a hot hand? No. McCray stopped this time after a gain of just 2 yards. Derrick Henry, the free safety, came up into the box to make the play. Second down and 8. Opening drive, second half, third quarter. Andrew Means has been quiet. He's at the top of your screen, the very top. That's Fisher in the slot. Receiver on the bottom of your screen is Turner, Terrence Turner. Big pen in the backfield with Kellen Lewis. Blitz coming. Lewis flush. Takes it himself. And gets wrapped up across the 40 near the 41-yard line. Ryan Haynes recovered to make the stop. Let's revisit tonight's Suzuki ATV keys to the game.
Well, for Indiana, we talked about having to stop the run, and they've struggled to do that with Miquel Lewis. And then give no love to Dante. When we saw he went out in the first half. And if you're Ball State, you got to win that battle in the trenches and eliminate those explosive plays. 0 sacks allowed. Ball State's offensive line continuing to do their thing.
3rd and 2. Lewis. Unable to pick it up on his own. Good contain defense. Haynes, Henry, and Davy Jones all in on that tackle. Ashley, Russell, what do you have for us?
Well, I spoke with Brady Hoke coming out of the locker room and asked him to ease the minds of his fans out there about Dante Love and his injury. And he said all he can tell us is he did have, was knocked out for a short period of time. And then I spoke with the SID, Joe Hernandez, who said that the doctor said that they are now transferring Dante Love to Methodist Hospital. So obviously the injuries are very serious.
And our prayers are with him. Look at this. Into the clear. B.J. Hill out to the 50-yard line. So it's first down near the 50-yard line on a 53-yard return. And Chris Hagerup saved the touchdown.
Well, he stopped the touchdown exactly right. And B.J. Hill, as well as he did in this return, he's kind of mad at himself that the one guy that gets him down is the punter. But it's a field position game, and he's allowing Nate Davis in that offense to come out in good position.
Yep. This is plus territory, big time. First down to the midfield marker. Miquel Lewis running hard. To the 41 of Indiana, gain of 9. Johnson and Finch on the stop.
Again, Ball State coming out different looks. They've been running inside zone play dives, getting out on the perimeter. They are fully extending that playbook. Stan Parrish knew he had to do that against Indiana's defense, particularly against their front 4.
2nd and 1 at the Hoosier 41. Miquel Lewis got the first down inside the 35-yard line. Boy, he follows his blocking well. He reads it very, very well. Liberty Mutual Alumni Spotlight of the game. Well, this was at halftime, and the Hoosiers honored their 1988 Liberty Bowl team. 7-3-1 record. And Coach Bill Mallory. Mallory took the Hoosiers, if I'm not mistaken, to 3 bowl games in his tenure here. First down. Ball State. This is Sykes, the freshman. Down to the 28-yard line. Mayberry made the tackle. Burris in there as well.
Sykes is a change of pace back. I mean, he talked about he's about 155, 160 pounds soaking wet. But he's got a gear speed, and they like to run that stretch play with him.
Stan Parrish again trying to lull that Hoosier defense to sleep a little bit, get those safeties up on the line of scrimmage supporting the run, and then he's going to go over the top. Davis 12-17, 201 yards and a touchdown. Here he is. Diving attempt made, and it's dropped by Hill. He had it, and he had Finch beaten at the 5-yard line.
Did you take
Darius Hill's second drop of the night.
Did you take a peek in Stan Parrish's playbook? I mean, because you were right on it. I mean, what you do, you suck up the safeties. Indiana likes the box safeties, bring them down. Try and sneak that post route in there. Play is there. Well executed, but you have to catch it.
Yes, that's the final ingredient. Catch it.
Seems so simple, especially when you're, Darius Hill and you have 27 career touchdowns.
Yeah. He's a good player. There's no doubt about that.
Almost automatic.
4 receivers set, 3rd down. Blitz coming. Davis out of bounds, short of the first down. 23-yard line of Indiana, and 4th down forthcoming.
Good job by Indiana secondary that time, hanging with the receivers downfield. Nate Daivs keeps his eyes down the field, but he has nothing. So what he does wisely is just tuck it in and get as many yards as he can, falling just short of the first down.
40-yard field goal try coming up for Ian Mcgarvey. Overall, he's made 8 straight field goals dating back to last year. 4 for 4 this year. His long this year, 46 yards. And he rifles that left to the uprights. He hooked it. And Indiana withstands the first offensive possession of the Cardinals. Can the Hoosiers get something going? We'll find out. Kirkwood Avenue, downtown Bloomington. I think that restaurant looked familiar to me. Nick's stopped in there, visit with the locals. You might do that tonight. Indiana starting 1st and 10. And they get a carry for Thigpen. Baker makes the tackle. A gain of about 4 or 5 yards. So Indiana in desperate need of putting something together here after a shaky finish to the first half and a scoreless drive to start the second half. Kellen Lewis calls his own number. Got a first down to the 38-yard line of Indiana. Trey Lewis was there. For the most part, Lewis has had room to run, but not a lot of room.
No, and it's been a lot of him creating with his own ability and athleticism. You want to see Indiana continue to pound their running backs, though, to preserve him a little bit.
Thigpen ran right into the rush. That was the right defense called for the right run. Robert Edmunds in on that tackle, along with Sam Woodward. Woodward playing a lot here tonight.
Talk about the run plays, and it's just been annihilated up front. But look at the surge. I mean, Ball State is in the backfield just about every other play.
I mean, Edmunds just blew up the block of Mike Starr and subsequently blew up the play. So Indiana loses 2, 2nd and 12. Four-man rush. Lewis to the 45, 50, to the 45 and out of bounds. 41-yard line of Ball State.
Kellen Lewis, the ball carrier.
22-yard scamper by Kellen Lewis.
When you're defending Kellen Lewis, you have to first decide, are you going to force him to the air or are you going to let him be a runner? That time he does a nice job of seeing it, knowing the creases there, and moving the chains.
1st and 10. Lewis, boy, he is so good with the play fakes out there. Picks up a few there as Bryant Haynes makes another tackle.
But the obvious game plan, though, for Ball State is let him do what he does with his legs. Just don't allow him to throw the ball down the field. And when he does, make him pay. And it's evidence with the 2 interceptions that Ball State has.
That's means at the very bottom. Thigpen is in the slot at the bottom of your screen on 2nd down and 8. 3 receivers at the top. Lewis lots of time. Penalty marker down. Lewis into the flat to Fisher. David Jones, or I beg your pardon, the man who played it well with Trey Lewis forced him out of bounds near the 36-yard line. Flag down in the area of holding.
Sure.
Bill Lamagnier is the official we've been hearing from tonight.
Illegal chop block. 71 offense. 15-yard penalty. Previous spot. Still 2nd down.
See Thigpen just running a drag route. Couldn't see the block.
Watch the fraction. 71, Alex Perry, the center. There it is. The defender engaged with Pete Saxon and then Alex Perry from behind. It's an injury. People can get hurt on that injury, on that block. That's why it's illegal. Only the 3rd penalty of the game. 2nd for IU. They didn't have any penalties last week against Murray State. To the 50-yard line goes Lewis on a gain of about 4. David Jones, the linebacker, on the stop. The question on Ball State coming in was, could they stop the run well enough to be in this ball game with Indiana? And I think they've done a pretty good job of containing things here.
They have. And if you're Indiana fans, you're wondering where these wide receivers are. I mean, Ray Fisher, Andrew Means, they've come out and spread formation, 3, 4, even 5 wide. Wide receivers got to get involved in this ball game.
They're going against soft coverage on the corners, deep safeties. 3rd down, 3rd and long. Lewis, incomplete, trying to hit Means in front of the IU bench. Haynes had coverage. 4th down.
Beautiful coverage down the field by Ball State. I mean, every guy was accounted for. You know, Lewis is going to extend the play and give you some time, but way to just stay patient, stay with the receivers. He had nothing there.
Chris Hagerup running punt formation. Good leverage into this kick. Hits on the 2 and caroms into the end zone, so the Cardinals will get it at their 20-yard line. 6:04 to go in the 3rd. Still an 8-point ball game. Indiana trailing Ball State here in Bloomington. Welcome back to Bloomington. Wayne Larrabee, Chris Martin, Ashley Russell. Prime time in Bloomington. Here's the marching 100, or part of them anyway. They were a little more formally clad at halftime for the show. First down now for Nate Davis and the Cardinals, who lead by 8 in the 3rd. Davis escapes to the 25 and slides to a stop just short of the 30. Gain of 9.
Nate Davis, keep in mind, he was a basketball player in high school, so he's athletic. He has good feel in the pocket, and he knows when to scramble and get out of traffic, and smart enough to get down here.
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with this Ball State team. Both sides of the ball. 2nd down and short. Double tight ends on the line. Miquel Lewis, the lone setback. Lewis running away from people across the 40. Kleinsmith brings him down at the 44-yard line of Ball State.
All great running backs run with their eyes. They have vision. Watch him find the hole and then accelerate and cut back.
Yeah, he does have good vision, Chris. I mean, and timing too. The other factor people don't realize, it's not how hard or quick you hit the hole, it's when you hit it that makes all the difference in the world. And this kid has good timing as well.
Yeah, he does. He sets up his blocks well and can make moves in the hole.
And again, if you joined us late, Dante Love went out of the ball game due to injury and will not return tonight. He's the playmaker on the outside. Good tackle made there by Tyler Replogle on Lewis, Miquel Lewis, out of the backfield.
It was a nice job of reading and diagnosing this screenplay by Replogle. Athletic enough to get there and make the tackle.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7 for Ball State. The Cardinals leading by 8. Just under 4.5 to go in the 3rd. Hoosiers may have jumped into the neutral zone. Lewis has a first down on a move off left guard to the Indiana 46-yard line. Jeremy French made the stop, and there's a penalty marker down.
Offside. Defense. Number 92. Penalties declined. Play results. First down.
I haven't heard Greg Middleton's name a lot. He was the guilty party there.
Caught in the neutral zone. Last time he was working over Darius Grant. Tight end, he has been quiet. Both of the bookends have. And it's been a function of Ball State's offensive line.
First down, 46-yard line of Indiana. Penalty decline. Lewis up the middle. And wrestled down by Curlew. Late flag on this play, and a gain of 6 by Lewis to the 40-yard line of Indiana. Looks like it might be against the Hoosiers again.
personal foul. Number 14 in the defense. Bloated ahead on his opponent. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Jeremy Finch, the guilty party. You wonder how much of that is frustration.
Well, yeah, and 2 weeks ago when they played, they didn't have any penalties in the game, and they've had a flurry today.
Now this is in the first half of play. Dante Love hit by Chris Atkins. The ball came loose as helmets collided right there. Polk picked up a return for a touchdown, and Dante Love went out. And we were told that, again, he was transferred to another hospital, as Ashley Russell mentioned earlier. Davis to the air. Got a man. Barely overthrown. Incomplete. Lewis Johnson, the intended receiver. Chris Atkins had the coverage. Klein-Smith over the top from the safety spot.
Usually when you get cover 2 coverage, if you're Ball State, you like to throw corner routes. That time Nate Davis putting it out there, but just outside of the outstretched arms of Lewis Johnson.
So Davis now 13 of 20, 204 yards and a touchdown. 2nd and 10. Stan Parrish, the offensive coordinator, is taking his shots at this Indiana defense downfield, usually on 1st or 2nd down and short. Lewis to the outside. Gain of 8 yards to the 17-yard line of Indiana. Penalty marker down. Maybe in the area of holding, at least it appears to be. Yep.
Holding. 74 offense. 10 yards, previous spot. Still 2nd down.
This game's bogged down a little bit with penalties and that type of thing. 3:12 to go in this 3rd quarter.
Greg Middleton has been pushed around a bit today. We talked about him as a hybrid player. Intense pass rusher. Led the nation a season ago. But he's facing an offensive line that's pretty darn good. In fact, they're one of the tops in the nation in sacks allowed. So they really protect Nate Davis up front.
2nd and 20. Fake the reverse. Indiana stays home. Replogle makes the tackle on Lewis. Miquel Lewis.
Well, Replogle, first of all, we see Middleton there. Replogle doing a nice job of coming off the bench and being a spark plug. But Greg Middleton, he's your sack master. This is his time to shine. It's 3rd down, obvious pass situation. See if he has one-on-one protection or if they'll chip with the back.
3rd and 17. Davis. Overshot, incomplete, penalty marker thrown. He was trying to get it out to Miles Tremp. Had coverage down the sidelines in the person of Richard Council. And the penalty marker thrown at the 10-yard line of Indiana. This could be huge if it's pass interference.
And I think it is. Miles Tremp stretching the field. Big 6'4" body.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty, previous spot. Automatic, first down.
4 penalties against IU here tonight.
They took a look at the coverage here. Tremp has a step on him. We saw 2 refs throwing flags. I don't like the call.
I don't know if we saw enough of it, Chris. I don't know. You know,
well,
I don't know. I mean, you know, that stuff down the field. Either way, I don't know on any level if we really have a full understanding of what pass interference is, but there was some contact there, and the officials made the call.
Yeah.
Gain of 2, 2nd down and 8. Yeah, of course you wouldn't like it. You're a cornerback. Why would you like that call? You know,
I've never liked the pass
interference. I bet you don't think they call offensive pass interference nearly enough.
They don't. But if you're Indiana, you just refocus it in, and you talk about not giving up explosive plays. Although that wasn't connected, the pass interference call now has this ball down deep in the red zone.
That pass would not have been completed anyway. That was overthrown. Davis incomplete, able to get it away. Pressure came late, but it did come indeed from Mirando, the defensive end primarily, and also Greg Brown on the defensive tackle spot.
Nate Davis had a collapsing pocket. You'll see a little bowl shape for him there, but he has to hold that ball in. Does a nice job just getting rid of it.
Yeah. Well, you know, again, Ryan Mirando had such a good game with 2 forced fumbles and a sack against Murray State 2 weeks ago. He's a guy, they have a 3-man rotation at defensive end, Middleton, Curlew, and Mirando, and all 3 of them can create havoc. Third down, big third down for the Indiana defense.
Watch these DNs for Indiana.
Miquel Lewis fumbled the football, and the Hoosiers have it. Rotel gathered it in at the 5-yard line of Indiana. Oh, what a stop for the Hoosiers.
And I said it, Tyler Rotel has just come in and made play after play. Miquel Lewis, ball pops out.
Let's see who got the hit on here. Oh, that was Mosley. Brandon Mosley, the safety, got a hand in there, knocked it loose.
Yeah, and he put his hat right on the ball to punch it loose.
So the Hoosiers turn back the Cardinals. Late stages, third quarter, Ball State by 8. Kellen Lewis in the Indiana offense when we come back. One of the few mistakes made by Miquel Lewis tonight. He was hit by Brandon Mosley, coughed up the football, ending a 9-play, 76-yard drive by Ball State.
You see Mosley putting his hat right on the ball, punch it out.
That was Kevin Burris who had the runner wrapped up, and then Reflogel, the linebacker, able to gather it in. Big stop for Indiana. Yeah, Mosley, number 26. Turnovers now beginning to pile up both ways. Mosley, the 5th-year senior out of Merrillville, Indiana. 1st and 10. Pile driving run right there out across the 5 to almost the 10-yard line. And that was the guy who drives the pile in this 3-headed monster running back for Indiana, Brian Payton. Ball State 9 plays, 76 yards, 4 minutes, 40 seconds time of possession before that fumble ended their drive. 2nd down for Indiana. Payton, the lone setback, 2 tight ends on the left side of the line. Another on the right side. Means the lone receiver in this game, lone wide receiver. Payton. Out to the 12. Gain of almost 3 yards. So it'll be a 3rd down for Indiana. 3rd down, a passing situation.
For Indiana, you want to get 3rd and manageable situations. See the rushing yards there.
You know, it's funny. The 206 rushing yards by Indiana does not feel like it was nearly as effective as the rushing yardage posted by Ball State, does it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
But so many came on the legs of Kellen Lewis.
3rd down. 3rd and 5. Perry on the snap. Lewis pulls it back. Now lets it go. Means has it. Does he have enough for the 1st down? It'll bend on the spot of the ball, and I believe he does. At the 16-yard line, just short of the 17, Trey Bice made the stop on the play. 3rd quarter comes to a close in Bloomington. Ball State's lead is still 8 points. As we head to the 4th quarter, they'll switch sides. Indiana continues this drive with a 1st and 10 when we come back to Bloomington in prime time. Wayne Larrabee, along with former Northwestern cornerback Chris Martin and Ashley Russell, back in Bloomington. Join host Mike Hall as he and his crew take you around the conference each week with a fun, unique look at every campus. Join them on Big Ten Friday Night Tailgate, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network. Indiana on 1st down, going wide and not getting much. Big Pen brought down by Sean Baker. And through 3 quarters, the penalty marker down holding against Indiana. And there are the numbers, and the balance really has been Bowling Green.
64 offense, half the distance to the goal, still 1st down.
I beg your pardon. I said Bowling Green. Meant to say Ball State has had more balance than Indiana with the 159 rushing yards, 200 plus through the air.
Well, I think, but the big stat there too is Indiana passing yards. They only have 61. Kellen Lewis is accounting for 122 yards on the ground out of the 206 that Indiana has. 5
penalties now against the Hoosiers. They're backed up against it, 1st and 18. No chance for Thigpen. The Cardinals fired up defensively all over it, led by Andrew Pook. So put off with the tackle. And now it is.
Yeah, good job of shedding the block by Putoff.
2nd down. Lewis needs a play. Going deep for Means. He has room. Makes a sensational catch across the 50-yard line. 44-yard pass play to the big playmaker on the outside of the Indiana offense, Andrew Means.
Well, what you want to do as a wide receiver is get the defensive back in the trail position. Means does an excellent job of locating the ball and creating separation and going up and getting it.
1st down. Lewis, Fisher on the bubble screen, got a block from Turner. Very close to the 1st down to the 39-yard line. B.J. Hill made the tackle for Ball State. Call that play the bubble. It's a bubble screen, basically, and that time a one-man bubble out there. And that bubble was formed by a very effective block from Terrence Turner.
Yeah, and usually that bubble goes to Ray Fisher.
Play action. Lewis to Means. Got the 1st down. To the 31-yard line of Ball State. Trey Lewis chased him out, and suddenly Indiana, for the first time in quite some time, has some momentum offensively.
Means is certainly the most polished receiver of the bunch.
Fake to Thigpen. Well played so far. Finally out of bounds goes the quarterback, Kellen Lewis. That was Baker who came up and forced that play. And David Jones, the linebacker, cleaned it up, a gain of about 4.
Kellen Lewis just improvising with his legs. You know, he can rescue a lot of bad plays.
Yes, he can. He had nothing there. He made that on his own. Because that was well diagnosed by the defense. Opening 2 minutes of play, 4th quarter. 2nd down, Indiana. Thigpen in motion to the backfield. The fake, and now the toss. Thigpen around the end. Faked it to Demetrius McRae and tried to get Thigpen loose on the end, and he has not found an awful lot of running room here tonight.
And that's because it hasn't been there between the tackles. You talk about him as straight runner, straight line guy. But Ball State, give them credit. They've been able to seal up the running lanes, particularly in the interior.
Chris, are you surprised with the speed of this Ball State defense?
I really am. I mean, their flow to the ball, their linebackers, and their D-line. I mean, they just get to the ball carrier quickly.
3rd down, Indiana. Lewis unable to get there. Duffin blew it up. Crawford was in the vicinity. And then the tackle made by Woodworth.
Well, and I equally think Indiana is a bit surprised at the speed of the defense. I mean, Ball State is much faster than they were a year ago on both sides of the ball.
Make that David Jones on the tackle, but it was Duffin who got there to blow that play up. And now Austin Starr will try a long field goal here. 43 yards.
There's a lot of pop in his leg.
Justin Haas on the hold. Pretty much a straight-on kick. Starr. And it is no good. He pushed it to the right side. So the Indiana drive comes up empty. Frustrating night for Bill Lynch and company. Meanwhile, hanging on by 8. The Cardinals of Ball State in the 4th. Along with Chris Martin and Ashley Russell, Wayne Larrabee in Bloomington today. The gas was only 31 cents a gallon the last time the Wildcats started 4-0, Chris. You weren't even born back then, partner. My goodness. Davis, incomplete. And it was Miranda who put the pressure on 1st and 10. All right, Buckeyes get revenge on the Trojans. And that's prior. The Troy. You see the play on words there? They lost to the Trojans of Southern California last week, and now they get revenge on the Trojans of Troy. And it's Troy University. I guess they're not even called the Trojans. I don't know why they put that up, just to confuse us. That's all.
You did a good job of it.
Yes, sure did. I haven't checked my Troy playbook with me. Pressure here. And coming back for it, making the catch Ift. And I'll tell you what, Daivs showed you something there with his feet to keep that play alive.
He did, and then also with his arms. See how he can go full speed and throw across his body and still put the ball on the numbers. Just very agile, athletic, and he keeps his eyes down the field. That's a great scrambler. When you're out of the pocket, always keep your eyes down the field.
Third down, a little bit more than 3 yards to go. Daivs drills it into the seam, and he's got Grant for a first down at the 44-yard line of Ball State. He threw a strike between Mosley and Council. Make that Darius Hill on the catch. The other tight end.
Darius Hill, we talked about the matchup problems that he causes. A big body, but athletic enough that it's tough for safeties to check him. And linebackers are heavy-footed, so they have trouble running with him.
2 tight ends on the line in a straight I formation backfield. Sykes is the tail of the tandem here, and 1 wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. It's Daniel Ift. Sykes bouncing it to the 50, to the 49-yard line. Council on the tackle for Indiana. A gain of 7 yards.
I love running backs with short area quickness. Watch him put his foot in the ground and bounce outside. There it is. I mean, just extremely elusive. Watch this stick and go. Sykes, nice change of pace to the bigger Lewis.
So Corey Sykes stays in there. Second down, a little bit more than 2 yards to go, almost 3 yards for Ball State. Daivs under center now. Sykes again running hard, got the first down. Pulled back at the 44-yard line of Indiana. First and 10 on a gain of 3.5 yards. Will Patterson, the linebacker, and Gino Johnson in on that stop. Next Saturday, another exciting day of Big Ten football. It all starts with a pregame show powered by Suzuki ATVs. And our presentation next week, Minnesota at Ohio State. Glenn Mason, the former Ohio State player and former coach of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, will be honored as a captain, honorary captain that day at Ohio State, as alma mater. First down, football just inside the 45 of Indiana for Ball State. Nate Daivs. He's got Daniel Ift. First down, 27-yard line of Indiana. First and 10. Joe Kleinsmith responded defensively.
Well, that's again, you talk about running the corner routes in the cover 2 scheme. You'll see Kleinsmith, 33, will come over the top. But just soft zone defense. Ball State doing a nice job. Their receivers, Ift, sitting down in the zone. And we talk about Indiana, and we kind of came into this in the open, a team that doesn't know exactly who they are or what they are. They're figuring it out quickly. And last year in the beginning of the season, their defense led the conference in yards allowed, just like this game, and then they go bananas on the other side of the ball. So they got to stick in there.
Gain of 16 on the previous play. This time Lewis, good second effort, got him 2 yards. Miquel Lewis on the carry. And again, Ball State has not scored here in the second half, but they have gone on a couple of time-consuming drives. And we're down to about 8:20 to go, and it's an 8-point ball game. So that Indiana Hoosier defense getting a workout here tonight, and they look like they're gasping a little bit.
Well, and Ball State they've been dictating and not being dictated to, particularly in the trenches. And we talked about Middleton and Curlew. Those guys have been under control. Credit the offensive line of Ball State.
On second down, Daivs. Lots of time. Buying time. And chased out of bounds to the far side. Matt Mayberry closed on the quarterback. Nate Daivs had nothing going downfield, apparently, Chris.
Yeah, but this is smart. You can live with this. He had nothing. Everybody was covered. He doesn't try and force a ball. You know, sometimes that gunslinger mentality will make you try and put it in a tight window. He's playing smart, intelligent player, good football IQ. You saw it just there.
See the play clock. Down to 16.
If you're Indiana, this is where you got to make a play. And you want one of the guys in the secondary to get their hands on the ball. Middleton to get a sack off the edge. Someone's got to step up and make a big play.
3rd and 10. Daivs all day. Now being flushed by Middleton. Takes it himself. Diving for the first down. Did he get it? Oh, what an effort to get it near the 15-yard line. Nate Daivs went airborne to pick up the final 3 yards on that play. 12-yard gain.
And what a job by Daivs to elude the pass rush. Middleton was breathing down his neck, and he was able to escape and dive, knowing exactly where the sticks are. This awareness.
Oh, my goodness. Super slow-mo showed you that dive. My goodness. An Olympic judge would appreciate that. So it's first down at the 15-yard line of Indiana. Hoosier defense needs another stop. Lewis to the outside. Beats Kleinsmith. Out of bounds inside the 5 near the 1-yard line of Indiana.
We talked to Coach Lynch about the mentality. He even said we want to make them take another play. Well, this time they let this thing come out the back door. Miquel Lewis cutting it back against the grain. Watch him try and deliver the blow at the end here.
14-yard gain. First down, goal to go at the 1. Turnovers have hurt the Cardinals in the red zone here tonight. Can they punch this one across for a game-changing score? Lewis reaching to the end zone. Is he in? Now the indication late for the touchdown. 34-20 Ball State.
We're seeing a lot of plays as the result of attrition, particularly down in the trenches. When you talk about body language, you talk about demeanor, Ball State, they've just been rolling, and largely because of Miquel Lewis, his running ability, and also the scrambling ability of Nate Daivs.
Ian Mcgarvey for the point after, and now what do we get?
Previous play is under review.
That's what we get. So they'll look at it upstairs. The technical advisor, the replay official, James Robinson. Is he in? That's the question. The question is, was his knee down before he reached the ball over the plane of the goal line? That's the key.
All right, tough angle there. See if the ball broke the plane before, as you said, his knee touched the ground.
Brady Hoke pacing anxiously. The same for Bill Lynch. We'll get a better look at it here. Nope, we're not going to see it there. No.
After the review, the ruling on the field has been confirmed. Touchdown.
Good decision.
They didn't have enough evidence to overturn that.
Clearly.
Well, extra point forthcoming. Ian Mcgarvey. And he's got it through the uprights. Just over 6 minutes to go in the game. Ball State by 15 after an 11-play, 74-yard march. Game-changing drive. State and Indiana. Memorial Stadium on the campus of Indiana University. Wayne Larrabee, Chris Martin, Ashley Russell. Indiana up against it now, down 15. Big Pen able to get it across the 20, not much farther than that. Tackle made by Joshua Howard. So it'll be 1st and 10. Ball State on a 5-minute, 35-second drive, 11 plays, 74 yards, and Miquel Lewis, 3rd touchdown run of the night.
Well, he's averaged 121 yards a game. Again, power runner showing just about everything. He has big play gene. And this is where the offense has got to come out, put the ball in the air. Look for Andrew Means to step up here.
Last 4 possessions, 3 punts and a missed field goal for Indiana. Kellen Lewis throws this one away. Pressure in the backfield from the defensive tackle, Gonzalo Baranaga. Cargill passing combinations tonight. Kellen Lewis, Andrew Means have hooked up 4 times for 103 yards and receptions, but Indiana has not scored since the 2nd quarter when the defense put a touchdown on the board.
Ball State.
Unusual
timeout, second
ball
half.
here by Ball State, leading by 15, 6 minutes left to go. They must not have had the right personnel on the field. So Brady Hoke regroups. Bill Lynch and company staring down the barrel of a 15-point deficit in the 4th at home. Back in Bloomington, Ball State leading 35-20. What has been a dormant offense for Indiana since early in the 2nd quarter, facing 2nd and 10. Lewis, Turner, 2 defenders on him defensively. Well-diagnosed play, a gain of about 5 yards. These are the remaining undefeated non-BCS schools: Utah, BYU, Ball State, TCU, and Boise State. TCU, Air Force, and Troy all lost today.
And interestingly enough, those all are very explosive offensive teams.
Kellen Lewis just short of the 1st down, and see what Bill Lynch decides to do here. He's facing a 4th down call coming up, and I would imagine, given the game situation, you go for it.
No doubt about it.
They're bringing the chains out. They want to find out how far they have to go. And let's say the length of the football at least. And the football near the 33-yard line of Indiana. It's even closer than the length of the football, I would guess. Game situation is this: 5:22 to go. Ball State is leading by 15. Indiana has all 3 of its timeouts remaining.
Well, you notice Ben Chappell's in the game too. Bigger quarterback. They love to use sneaks or just run sneaks with him. That would be the expectation here.
2 tight ends on the line. They need this. Payton is the lone setback. Chappell on 4th down, less than a yard. Ooh, my. Someone flinched on that offensive line.
Ball start. 76 offense. 5-yard penalty.
I believe he said Roger Saffold, number 76. Wow. Ball start, 5-yard penalty.
Obviously, you see Kellen Lewis going back in the game. Chappell coming out.
And now they spread the field with 5 receivers.
Yep, obvious passing situation.
2 at the top, 3 at the bottom of your screen. 4th down now. 4th down, a little bit more than 5 yards to go. Football back at the 27 of Indiana. Lewis over the middle, and it's incomplete pass. Undershot Fisher, who appeared to be open over the middle.
Well, and partner, I want to point out here that Ball State is getting pressure with 3 linemen. I mean, they didn't bring a blitz. They have 3 linemen that are rushing, collapsing this pocket. I mean, that is frustrating if you're the Indiana offensive line coach.
He had to force that in there because I'll tell you what, Bryant Haynes appeared from what we saw in that end zone shot. Very good coverage on Ray Fisher. So Ball State, which has already run a couple of long drives, looking to put this one away for good. Miquel Lewis to the 10, to the 5, and it's first and goal inside the 5. Miquel Lewis through a dispirited Indiana defense for 24 yards, and they're at the doorstep again.
Well, there's a lot of people making Lewis's highlight reel, and that time Kleinsmith was a winner, because he came up and he just gave him again that dead leg, has that move inside outside cut. You got to be able to wrap him up and get him down. You know he's a tough back. He runs hard. Got to get him on the ground.
Ball State and Indiana, Memorial Stadium. Ball State has never beaten Indiana. Matter of fact, they're 0 for 19 against Big Ten teams all time. Along with Chris Martin and Ashley Russell, Wayne Larrabee. Nate Daivs at the controls, looking to put this one away. Miquel Lewis for the 4th time, touchdown! Remember, when they played a year ago, Miquel Lewis was injured and did not play. What a difference he has made here tonight.
Yeah, he is a game changer, no doubt about it. You know, you talk about Nate Daivs and everything that he is, and Daivs can do a lot of things that he does because of the running ability of Miquel Lewis.
Since the injury to Dante Love, the playmaker for Ball State in the 2nd quarter, the Cardinals have dominated. They have responded to that adversity. The extra point is good. 28-8 since Dante Love left with an injury. 10:45 to go 2nd quarter. Miquel Lewis, 4 rushing touchdowns. 2 plays, 27 yards, all of it Miquel Lewis. What a difference he's made here tonight. It is 42-20 Ball State. Big Ben from the 4 to the 20. Brought down across the 25. We talked about Dante Love, the great playmaker for Ball State. Suffered an injury during the first half of the game. And you get a look at it right here. This is Dante Love, and hit by Chris Atkins. Ball came loose. Dante Love was carted off the field after a long delay, and rightfully so. They make sure he was immobilized. He was transported to Bloomington Hospital, has since been taken to Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis for further evaluation. And our prayers are with him. But his team has certainly rallied. Going for the long one downfield, and it is incomplete, intended for Tandon Doss. Ball State has outscored Indiana since the lead, or I should say since the Love injury, 28-8. Goodness. Talk about stepping up through adversity. And that's what this Cardinal team has done. Kellen Lewis in desperate times. 2nd and 10. Demetrius McCray straight ahead.
I think, Wayne, one of the questions that's going to surface with Indiana, and similarly to last year, is can they take a punch when it comes to the physicality of the football game? And this was a great evidence of it. You know, Ball State was very physical in the trenches. And we talked about Middleton, Curley, those guys vanished. Offensively, we got a lot of push.
The 3rd and 4. Good quick throw. And Matt Ernest on the reception.
You look at the run game, too, of Indiana, other than Kellen Lewis. If you take his numbers out, the backs have largely been ineffective.
1st and 10 off the completion. Lewis trying to make a play. Gets a block. Makes one man miss. Lewis into Ball State territory, down to the 41-yard line. Got a good block late from Roger Saffold that made a man miss in the open field, as was often the case with Kellen Lewis, and Derrick Henry brought him down.
Officials timeout.
There's an injured
player.
Indiana Hoosier down on the field. I believe it is Roger Saffold. Hotels.com post-game show coming up. Dave Rudson will commandeer the boys. They'll give you all of the action around the Big Ten this afternoon. Roger Saffold, one of those 7 blocks of limestone. That recruiting class of Terry Hefner back in 2006. He had 7 offensive linemen in that class. Saffold the best of the bunch, and he's down with what appears to be some kind of a right leg injury. Don't forget, post-game show presented by Hotels.com, your source for the highlights and analysis on all the Big Ten games. And don't forget tomorrow, soccer, Wisconsin, Indiana. Right here in Bloomington, 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Central on the Big Ten Network. Men's soccer. Our Polaris ATV toughest player of the game, Chris?
It's Dante Love, and rightfully so. He went out in the first half. And you talk about his ability, his toughness, his moxie, and you could tell that his team rallied around him. And we hope that he's okay.
It really is amazing when you think about it. This is their big playmaker along with the quarterback, Nate Davis. But Ball State, since that injury, 10:45 of the second quarter, has outscored Indiana 28-8. That's responding to adversity.
Yep.
And this is not a good sight for IU. Roger Saffold, their offensive left tackle, started all 13 games last year. In the first 3 games this year. Bill Lynch, look on his face is, could this get any worse?
Yeah, and he's the temperament of that offensive line. I mean, he's the nastiness, the guy that's feisty, the scrappy player.
First and 10. Lewis under a rush. And gets it away incomplete. That was Crawford. We got over to make the hit. Brandon Crawford, 32-year-old defensive end, former Marine. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Big Ten Conference may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the actions and accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Big Ten Conference. Second down. And the carry by McCray, gain of about 6 yards there. Womack makes the tackle. Demetrius McCray on the carry.
And Wayne, I've been impressed with the play call of defensive coordinator Mark Smith for Ball State. I mean, he knew coming into the game, you got to give Kellen Lewis one thing. And if that one thing is going to be allowing him to run crazy, let him do it, but don't let him make the big pass plays.
Tandon Doss, the freshman receiver, has a first down at the Ball State 22-yard line. 18-yard gain. Derrick Henry made the tackle along with Brian Haynes. They're rushing 3, partner, and they're getting some pressure out of that 3-man rush.
It speaks to the ability of the guys up front for Ball State, led by Brandon Crawford.
He's the captain, as I mentioned, 32 years old, an ex-Marine. Lewis over the middle, juggled, and Doss could not hang on to this one. Hampton Hotels winning play of the game. Take a look at it, Chris.
They talk about Kellen Lewis just misfires here, but Sean knows what to do with it. I mean, he's had some reps at. He had 3 interceptions a week ago. Defensive National Player of the Week. And he makes a lot of highlights.
Touchdown at Hampton. Wake up a winner. Second down and 10. Lewis. Able to get it away. Payton inside the 15 to the 10. Down he goes. Near the 8-yard line of Ball State. Tackle made by Woodard. Justin Woodard, defensive end.
Indiana coming into this game was a very balanced offensive attack between one run and pass, and Ball State has successfully made them one-dimensional.
It really did. An outstanding job by the defensive people for Ball State. Kellen Lewis. And he reaches inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line. Derrick Henry made the stop. So often, and Lewis has made some plays with his feet here tonight, and you're going to see the numbers tomorrow. You can say, well, he had a pretty good rushing day, but you know what? It's funny how the rushing yardage Indiana had, not as consequential as the rushing yardage that Ball State had in this ball game, and in particular Miquel Lewis. Demetrius McCray on the carry. Bill Lamagna.
Ball start. 68 offense. 5 yards. Still second down.
And again, the last time Indiana played against Murray State, they played a whole game without any penalties accepted against them.
Yeah.
And here tonight, penalties, especially in the second half, have kind of hurt.
Lack of focus, lack of discipline. There's going to be a lot of Big Ten schools and coaches watching this game film and showing how you defend Kellen Lewis in this offensive attack.
Second down. Goal to go situation at the 9. Lewis being rushed by Crawford. Out of bounds he goes. That's knocked out of bounds by Robert Edmunds, the rush linebacker.
That's the second hit that I've heard up here in the booth.
Yeah. Boy, I don't know if I want my quarterback taking hits like that. Third down. And goal to go. Football to the 8-yard line. Took a hit like that and gained a yard. Risk reward not there, partner.
No.
Kellen Lewis. Demetrius McCray, down he goes at the hand of Haynes, the linebacker who's played a whale of a ball game here tonight. Fourth down for the Hoosiers.
I think, Wayne, one of the questions at the end of this game is going to be...
Timeout, Indiana. First timeout.
I think I know where you're going, partner, and I agree. There are going to be a lot of people wondering, okay, well, they look good the first 2 games of the season. Is this the same old Indiana heading into conference play?
Exactly.
That's what people will be asking.
Yeah. And talking about when it gets to the physicality part of the football game. Can they stand up and fight you toe-to-toe and match the power and strength up front? I mean, I think the biggest thing that's jumped out at me is that Ball State's been able to get continuous pass rush and pressure just rushing 3 linemen.
And again, you know, we don't have a definitive on Roger Sappol's injury. It looked like a right leg injury. He went out earlier on this particular drive, but boy, if they're down Roger Sappol, they're going to have to do some scrambling on that line.
I mean, the luxury of dropping so many people back into coverage if you're in Ball State, because the front 3 hosses are getting to the quarterback. I mean, Kellen Lewis has been under duress all night.
Brandon Crawford, we talked about him. At 32 years old, he's a team co-captain. Didn't play high school football right out. Didn't play college football right out of high school. Had some an altercation with the law. Went to work at a factory. Later enrolled in the Marines. Was honorably discharged. Picked up his Ball State career a couple of years ago. And he is a leader on this team. He's in the middle of the defensive line. Lewis firing for the end zone. Broken up on 4th down. And that's the punctuation point in this ball game.
And both coaches after this game can go under the hood and look and see what they have on both sides of the ball.
Well, Chris, both teams came into this game and they say, okay, we're undefeated. We've had some impressive victories. How good are we? Well, I think Ball State and Brady Hoke found out they're pretty good. Yep. And Indiana and Bill Lynch have now got to be wondering.
And they found out that they need some more work on both sides of the ball, and it's going to start in the trenches as we started at the top of the show.
So 10 seconds to go. Ball State on the verge of its first win ever against a Big Ten team. Nate Davis drops to a knee, and that's it. Final score. Ball State 42 goes to 4-0. Indiana 20. The Hoosiers fall to 2-1.
I tell you, we talked about fireworks. We saw explosive plays. We saw run after the catch ability. A lot of stars that didn't fade. They played big tonight for Ball State. This is an impressive football team. They got a nice looking future ahead of them. For Indiana, it's back to the lab and how they can shore up the offense and defensive lines.
For Ashley Russell and Chris Martin, this is Wayne Larrabee. For our entire Big Ten Network crew, saying so long from Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana. Indiana 20, Ball State 42. Let's go to the